Most of you who are young like me, we were born into this system. But that's not what can allow Burkina to thrive. Because in this situation, there are only two cases. Either we accept to fight, or we remain slaves forever.
And if you listen to Western media, they spend all their time.
Ever wondered what the world would look like without Google, the all-knowing internet butler we rely on for everything? Sounds wild. Right, most of us can't go a day without Googling how to fix a coffee machine, check the weather, or stalk an ex on Instagram. But while we're busy asking Google life's most important questions, something massive just happened, something Google didn't see coming. Burkina Faso, led by 37-year-old revolutionary president Ibrahim Traoré, just dropped a digital bombshell. The country is cutting ties with Silicon Valley and is building its own African-made internet. Yes, you heard that right, not just banning Google, replacing it. Now Google is in total panic mode. Is this the beginning of Africa's digital independence? Could Traoré's bold move spark an internet revolution across the continent and beyond? Let's start with the biggest Google's banned story, China. Since way back in 2010, China has said nope to Google Search, Gmail, Google Maps, and even YouTube. No memes or funny cat videos for them. Why? Because China's super strict about controlling the internet, like a digital bouncer at the world's biggest online club.
And every time they try to spread information, to divide, to manipulate the youth. But it doesn't work anymore. I think people are aware enough. Now people have their eyes open. Through communication, they manage to rewrite history.
Now, Burkina Faso, under Traoré's rule, is playing copycat. They're building their own version of China's Great Firewall, basically a huge internet filter that decides what people can see online. The government wants to make sure everything fits its political and social ideas. Google was like, nah, we're not gonna censor our stuff just to make you happy, and Traoré's government reacted by showing them the door. Lately, this whole Google versus Burkina Faso drama has popped back into the spotlight. In January 2025, rumors started flying that Google's parent company, Alphabet, was trying to sneak back into Burkina Faso's market. But here's the catch. Should Google compromise its values just to get back into a bigger market? It's like deciding whether to go to your ex's party even though they dumped you. So far, no decisions have been made, but the world is watching like it's the season finale of a reality show. Burkina Faso isn't the only place where Google's had drama. Back in 2021, Russia slapped Google with a fine because it didn't remove content the government didn't like. Now, Google's not totally banned in Russia, but it's playing the internet version of dodgeball, getting hit with fines, dealing with restrictions, and having its services slowed down like your Wi-Fi during a storm.
I'm now telling you the truth, and this time you cannot turn off your microphones. This time you cannot turn away your cameras. This time your editors cannot cut this speech, because the world you monopolize no longer exists, because millions will hear these words now, without passing through your filters, without being subjected to your distortions, without being muddied by your lies. I am 34 years old.
It's not just China and Burkina Faso giving Google the cold shoulder. In countries like Iran and North Korea, Google services are either blocked or restricted. It's like trying to get a pizza delivery to a locked-down castle. These governments, like China, want to control what people see online and keep them away from anything that doesn't fit the official story or local culture. Even India, where Google has more fans than Bollywood movies, has had its fair share of drama with the tech giant. In October 2022, the Indian government fined Google for acting like the playground bully with its Android operating system. Sure, Google didn't get banned, but this made it clear that countries all over the world are keeping a closer eye on big tech companies.
As a child, I would watch Africa on television. Always the same images. Children with flies, dry lands, weapons, death. This is Africa, they told us. This is what Africa is. And we believed it. We were ashamed of ourselves. We were ashamed of our own lands, of our own people. But then I grew up. I read, I researched, I questioned, and I understood that the Africa you showed us wasn't real. The story you told us was a lie.
Alright, let's switch things up for a sec. Since we're already talking about Google and Burkina Faso, there's another big question. Is using Google even safe? Lots of people wonder if Google's secretly hiding their data like a digital dragon. The painful truth is that Google collects a lot of data. Every time you search for something, watch a YouTube video, or check your Gmail, Google's quietly taking notes like an overly curious neighbor. This data includes stuff like what you search for, where you are, which websites you visit, you name it.
For years, how have you portrayed Africa? How have you shown it? How have you sold it to your viewers? As if we were creatures who had no share of humanity, as if we were savages left outside of civilization. as if we were wretches waiting for you to save us. Every day, every hour, every minute, the same story plays on your screens.
Google says it's all to make your experience better, give you personalized recommendations, and show you ads so tailored it's like they're reading your mind. Creepy or convenient? You decide. So is it safe to let Google collect all your info? Well, it's kind of like leaving your diary at a friend's house. On one hand, Google's got strong locks to keep the bad guys out. They even give you options to stop them from snooping too much, like turning off ads that follow you around or using incognito mode when you're looking up weird stuff.
Hunger, war, disease, corruption, terror, chaos. These are the words that come to mind when Africa is mentioned. In your Africa dictionary, there are no other words. No hope, no success, no development, no resistance, no honor, no pride, no victory. So I ask you, New York Times, Washington Post, Guardian, Le Monde, have you ever made Africa's successes your headlines? How many times have you written about Rwanda's technology miracle? How many times have you shown Ethiopia's reforestation project?
But on the other hand, a lot of people feel weird about how much Google knows about them. Some worry that the company might use their info for things they didn't agree to, or worse, hand it over to governments. And don't forget, in 2023, Google got hit with a massive $400 million fine in Europe because they weren't following all the privacy rules. Stuff like that makes you wonder just how much of your life is floating around out there on the internet. So, what's life like for people living where Google is banned? Well, it's kind of like being at a party, but they took away the snacks. They miss all the cool stuff Google offers, like finding stuff fast, maps that actually work, and endless hours of funny cat videos.
Against Africa is terrible. So all of this needs to be communicated so that young Africans understand, because there are still many who are asleep.
But in Burkina Faso, Traoré is rooting for local companies to build their own internet playground, basically a homemade Google that follows the government's rules. Think of it like a DIY internet, but maybe with fewer bugs. If someone really wants to use Google, they can try sneaking in through something called a VPN, basically an internet invisibility cloak. But heads up, using one there is like trying to sneak into a movie theater without a ticket. Risky and could get you caught. And then there's the privacy question. Is using Google's cool stuff worth giving up some of your personal info? Sure, it's super convenient, but with all things online, you've got to know what you're signing up for and decide what you're comfortable with.
Africans need to understand their history and wake up. So that's our fight as well.
As for Ibrahim Traoré, he's on a mission to control the story his country tells the world, kind of like a director who wants to make sure everyone sees the perfect movie version of Burkina Faso. The Burkinabe government wants to make digital stuff a big deal for the country's growth, like turning the internet into the new secret sauce for success. But first, they have to get internet working everywhere, in homes, government offices, hospitals, and schools. Last year, they rolled out high-speed internet for 9 out of 10 big universities and research centers. This fancy $6.2 million project was backed by the World Bank and got a tech boost from Orange Burkina Faso, the local mobile company. Basically, they're trying to make sure students and researchers don't have to suffer through buffering videos or slow downloads anymore. We hooked up the Ministry of Higher Education with all the tech goodies, Wi-Fi devices and everything for 9 big universities, said Nafi Silwe Koulibaly, the CEO of Orange. We even connected 174 buildings with super-fast fiber internet and trained 29 tech wizards to keep everything running smoothly, so no more "Sorry, the internet is down" excuses. This all kicked off after President Ibrahim Traoré had a chat with the academic crowd in January 2023. They talked about all the problems hitting universities and schools. So Traoré told Ajima Tiombiano, the Minister of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, to make sure all the universities got hooked up with fast internet. According to Mr. Tiombiano, getting high-speed internet into Burkina Faso's public universities is a game changer. It means students can dive into online learning, get easy access to all kinds of info, and share ideas with teachers and other students without yelling across the classroom. Plus, it helps students level up their digital skills and sparks new ideas and creativity. This internet boost is just one piece of the bigger plan. The Burkina Faso government wants to sprinkle digital magic across all parts of society, kind of like turning every sector into a tech-savvy superhero to help the country grow and develop faster. With all this digital change happening, the tech world is becoming a big job factory, especially for young people. If they pick up the right skills, they've got a way easier time jumping into the job market instead of going around wondering what to do next. Recently, tech giant Huawei said, hey, we're gonna help out. They announced plans to train over 5,000 young Burkinabes in computer and tech skills over the next 5 years. Christophe Liu, Huawei's big boss in Burkina Faso, made this announcement after meeting with President Ibrahim Traoré and the Minister of Digital Transition, Aminata Zerbo Sabane. Looks like the future's looking a lot more techie for Burkina Faso's youth. We have come to update the head of state on the various projects we are implementing. We aim to train the Burkinabe youth in ICTs, including 5G, cloud, and AI. We are initiating a project with the government and the Ministry of Digital Transition, Posts, and Electronic Communications, stated Liu. Besides training people, Huawei also promised to bring some serious internet power to Burkina Faso by installing a fiber optic cable over 2,000 kilometers long. That's like wrapping a super fast internet highway around the country, even reaching the places where you'd usually lose signal and have to rely on smoke signals. This cable will also help connect government offices so they can actually talk to each other without using carrier pigeons. All this is part of Huawei's big plan to help Burkina Faso with its e-Burkina digital dream. The goal is to teach people about new tech, create jobs that last, and grow a digital economy that makes the country smarter and stronger. Traoré is all about bringing the whole country together, people, resources, everything, to stand strong against what he calls the forces of imperialism. The West? Yeah, they're starting to sweat a little because of him. The guy's sharp, no doubt. He's been killing it so far. Young, full of energy, and the voice that many young people across Africa are tuning into. He talks with confidence and charisma that makes some folks nervous. He's like Burkina Faso's own superhero, inspired by the legendary Thomas Sankara. When an African stands tall and proud without feeling less than, some call that a persona. We just call it being awesome. Meanwhile, Burkina Faso's sitting on a treasure chest of minerals: gold, zinc, copper, manganese, phosphate, and limestone. Plus, they've got diamonds, bauxite, nickel, and vanadium hiding under the ground, waiting to be discovered and put to good use. Do you think Traoré can maintain these innovations? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for more up-to-date news on Traoré. But for the ones who can't wait, I have created more videos about Traoré, because do you already know what he really discussed during his meeting in Russia? Because that meeting changed everything for Africa's future. Make sure to check that video out, and I will see you in the next one.